in the position where we could, fire. Cyrus Pitawala earned his Ashok Chakra.
Okay.
For, again, like I said, this is the highest. What are the strengths and weaknesses of your own troops? Because as a brigade, you are not having your battalion. 4 Nigerian battalions, Ghana battalion, Indian battalion, Guinea battalion, Kenyan battalion. Indian style of working is standard operating procedures. And everyone had told me before going that, oh, you're going on a UN mission. Maje kar. That is the first thing was maje kar.
Welcome folks to the Commander's Compass. I'm Commander Girish Konkar, an ex-submariner turned leadership catalyst. I'm here to help you navigate the storms of leadership and build a legacy that lasts. Let's dive in to the depths of leadership. Is developing a single culture for a company against keeping people, what any thought you have, because Marathas or the Punjab or very strong cultures but built over generations. It is not just today. It takes a long time to build culture. Is culture that important or is the values most important? What would you say?
I would say the values are, what is values? Again, it comes from the culture over a period of time. So, how you have been brought up in your own families? How have the families behaved with you? They have behaved how they have imbibed. I mean, from the values that they imbibe from their parents.
The values become your culture.
So, there's a very interesting part in your journey, which is the UN Peacekeeping Mission in Sierra Leone, where you worked with multiple different diverse forces as well. So, what was that experience like?
Okay. The United Nations mission in Sierra Leone, which I went, a very challenging one. Especially because just a few months before we had gone there was an observer mission. Observer means they are not armed. So there are from teams of observers who are deployed in that area to ensure that peace prevails. They had to be evacuated when the rebels, the RUF rebels, attacked Freetown and various areas. Literally, they were pulled inside helicopters in what they were wearing. Most of the observers were in their sleepers, no personal belongings, because there's no time for that.
Right.
So it is in that stage that they were evacuated so that there's no harm to the UN. That is when it was decided that we should have a force there. Now, when you have a force there, again, a lot of deliberations go at the UN headquarters as to who can be there as part of the force, who they offer.
Right.
Some accept, some do not accept, that kind of a thing. So, India had accepted to go there with an Indian force commander. Now, we were entering an area which was looked after by ECOWAS. That is the economic community of Western African states. There are about 14-15 states.
Okay.
With Nigeria as a leading partner. Nigeria is like a big brother for all the small countries.
Okay.
So with them, Guinea, Ghana, all those countries. So they were there and their forces were there. Now, to have an Indian force commander with a couple of one battalion from India, it unsettled or
all these,
whatever. The regional thing.
Right.
So they were not very happy when we went in. Anyway, we went in and there was very limited logistic support there at that time.
Okay.
Since whatever was there was taken out.
This was 80, which one?
This was 2000.
2000, okay.
Yeah. This is 2000 and we landed there on 13th of Jan 2000. So there was no place actually to stay. So we were put up in some hotels, 2 in a room, that kind of a thing. The containers had our offices with no chairs, no table, nothing.
Achha.
Things were coming.
Okay.
Because UN, it takes time.
Right.
It will be shipped from their bases and it will come. So over a period of time, it happened. And the first and foremost thing in such a multinational environment, and we were the ones who were establishing it. So, sure enough, the Indian style of working is standard operating procedures. You have to make that so that there is, you can say, everyone is in the same wavelength.
Yes.
You're operating at par.
And
everyone knows efficiently what is to be done under what. So I had a hectic time doing that, setting up the headquarter itself, the ops rooms and everything for that matter. And we had got a mandate. This particular mission had got a mandate to fight.
Okay. Otherwise, UN Peace, they don't fight.
Generally, they do not.
Generally, don't fight. Huh?
But
Okay,
this
so
had a mandate because there was a situation was there that you may need to fight. So that was, there were no maps.
Okay.
The maps were outdated. I had to go to the government department, open their bunkers and take out World War II maps.
That is so far behind for 2000.
Okay. And so whatever little we could get, and they were not maps for the entire country.
Right.
Tourist maps. So we got more of them printed.
Okay.
The army cannot work without maps. Basic has to be there. So slowly we're establishing. Luckily for me, I was the chief operations officer, kind of actually managing the show there. And luckily, there were quite a few Indian staff officers who knew the way we have to establish all these things. So it was relatively easy that way for me to bring it up to our good standards.
Okay.
And subsequently, the headquarters was established. We moved to a new place, that is an old disused hotel where they furnished it and gave it to us as a thing. The observers also came in because who had run off or evacuated.
Right.
Slowly, since the force was there, so they also were brought in, and it started functioning. Then there was a crisis midway in Sierra Leone, where one of the Indian contingents team was taken hostage.
Okay.
That time, we were staying in a hired house. 5-6 of us. I mean, all the staff officers we had taken country-wise. We had 12 of us. We shared 2 houses. 6 of us into 2.
And what was the total troop strength there?
At that time, it was 4 Nigerian battalions, 1 Ghana battalion, 1 Indian battalion, 1 Guinea battalion,
okay,
and 1 Kenyan battalion.
So the SOPs had to be devised for all of them to work as one unit,
as
one cohesive unit.
So we
that
thought
would
the
have been
same.
a task.
That was a major task, and see what we're quite used to such operations in India.
Right.
I mean, India has been in counter-insurgency, counter-terrorism operations for a long time.
Right.
So we are well tuned. But going there it is a multinational environment. It is a multi-ethnic, multi-religious.
Correct.
Culture is different. Traditions are different. So
all could speak English?
No.
So you didn't have the bidders.
Yeah. So
and Indians are really the outsiders if everyone else is African.
Everyone was like that. So when the crisis took place, I could not leave my office. My office was something of this, about 12 feet by 12 feet, nice air condition. But rest of the town did not have electricity.
Okay.
It was all war-torn country. Civil war was going on for a very long time. So very backward, very. The rebels had not permitted any development. So I had to stay there because I was the sutradar. Any movement of any helicopter anywhere in the country, I had to seek permission. What is happening? Updates. So it was. And the only place where I could charge my mobile, and they had given me a mobile when the crisis took place. My laptop and my communication equipment.
Okay.
radio set. So it needed to be charged. So I had only place there. So 15 days I was in that office.
Yeah.
Morning, my friend, I mean, one of the buddies on the house, he would get me a fried egg with bun or something. So that was breakfast. Similar was lunch and similar was dinner. So they would take turns to get me something. So there, now when the crisis took place, I'll come, there was a requirement of bringing in a lot of reinforcements, troops reinforcements. It was all between the UN headquarters, the force, the senior lot of the force. So then there was a meeting. The logistics officer, the civil counterpart from the UN, the military counterpart of the force, there was a Kenyan officer. And they said, how can the force come in? Additional, there was a Zambian battalion which was to come in. There was a Jordan battalion and a brigade headquarters to come in. There was an Indian battalion which was to come in. A Bangladesh battalion to come in to be inducted. As additional troops. So the Frenchman told, the chief of logistics, it will take about 60 days to induct them. So the Kenyan officer also said, yes, I agree. I said, no, we'll need 60 days to plan the induction. I said, hold on. By tomorrow afternoon, the plan will be with you. So I planned the entire induction for all the battalions, how they would come, how they will be inducted to the intended places of operation in 24 hours.
Oh God.
Because we are so used to it.
Absolutely.
Right? From the youngster days, I mean, we are in the brigade. I was a BM with just about 8.5 years of service. Brigade does higher than a battalion. So again, deployed in counter-insurgency in Nagaland at that time. So we had 8 battalions with us in that brigade instead of the normal 3. So one was used to all this. There's nothing. Moving one battalion like this,
True.
No problem.
Fast action.
Literally saved 59 days.
So next day it was there, and they said, you have looked into each and every aspect. I said, yes. That is how we have been taught in the Indian Army.
Correct.
We did the staff course at Wellington, which
trains us for all this. Absolutely.
You don't have
contingency planning, multiple.
So this is what it is.
And also, I think India is in a very unique position historically, where although we are a peaceful nation, we are always faced with military challenges.
Absolutely.
In most, like in the United States, for example, if they are in peace, they don't face internal challenges, but we do. And so, I'm sure that the training is something different.
We are always under training. On the job training.
Absolutely.
So it was a cakewalk. So I gave them the thing. They said, yes, doable. Thank you so much. There's that. Okay. So what I wanted to prove to them, that you don't require anyone else to plan. They were calling Britishers. Now in all these things, when one realized, everyone had their own interests and agenda. The Britishers had their, somehow they wanted to come in. It was an old colony of the Britishers. The Chinese,
and they think they know everything.
They know everything. The Chinese had established already a mission. The diplomatic mission was there. The Nigerian, the ECOWAS countries, because Sierra Leone had riches.
Diamonds.
Gold.
The whole movie is, I think, made in Sierra Leone. The blood diamond.
Diamond, yes.
So
everybody is ready to be there.
Indians, the whole thing was the organization. Why are you here? What is the purpose of coming here? So we were not into all the
politics or the economics of it.
So it was a very sensitive mission, so called. So now how do I pass on the orders to all these battalions? They were all inducted, and so I had a liaison officer from each of these units.
Correct.
The Guinea battalion, they only spoke French. Even the CO spoke only French.
Okay.
So there was a
Translator.
translator, Lieutenant Saab. Likewise, the Zambian battalion, the Ghana, Jordan, they wouldn't speak English, only Arabic.
Yeah.
Okay, the Kenyan battalion, everyone. Kenyan, of course, spoke good, better English.
Okay.
And so was a little bit of Zambian. But otherwise, it was. So these were the translators come liaison officers. So to them, I had to explain till they understood.
Right.
And ensure that they transmitted same message
and get implemented.
So it was like that.
What a huge operational challenge.
So happened everything. The operation Kukri was launched. It was extremely successful and all. So my role there, apart from bit of planning issue, was to keep everything. The hierarchy was planning. I was the chief operations officer. I had to keep everything away from them because we knew that there were interests.
Correct.
Varied interests from various countries. So yes, what's happening? Cool. What's happening? Oh, all well, all well. That's what I could do. Until the operation took place, and then I briefed the deputy force commander, who was a Nigerian, and the other civilian and force staff, that this is how the operation was conducted, and this is what the present situation is, and that kind of a thing. So you have to. Really,
and this was your Maratha battalion?
No. There was no Maratha battalion.
So you're a mixed.
There was a battalion from Gorkhas. 3HGR, basic.
Right.
Plus they had troops from other.
Right.
Like mechanized infantry, one company was there.
Right.
And the subsequent battalion which came in as reinforcement was 18 Grenadiers who had done well in Kargil operations.
Okay.
So as a reward, they were.
So handling multiple stakeholders, multiple nationalities, multiple agendas, that must have been some balancing game that you had to play.
Herculean task.
And
everyone had told me before going that, oh, you're going on a UN mission, or Majai kar. That is the first thing, was Majai kar. Majai kar. 7 months I had not gone out. There was no Sundays, there was no Mondays, there's no holidays. After all operations went off, I went to the beach where all other country staff to be at the beach on Sundays.
Okay.
After 7 months, I went and I got a literally rising standing ovation. The coup is here, for a swim. Just imagine.
Okay.
Sir, while we've covered bits and pieces of your long and illustrious career, we haven't spoken about your time in the Kashmir Valley. So, especially the Baramulla Kupwara sector, which must have been, a tensed situation. So, and you were the brigade commander there. So, what was that experience?
See, luckily for me, I was, right from the day of commission, like I brought out, I was in counter-insurgency and counter-terrorism operations, starting from Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland, Tripura, and J&K, 3 tenures there before taking over this command of a brigade. I was well aware the
Can I just interject over here 1 second? Guys, you just heard the places that many of us won't even know where these places are. Not only northeast, complete northeast area, J&K area, 3 tenures, Sri Lanka, Sierra Leone, all operational tenures, high pressure, high tension, many a times in the thick of battle. So, please pay attention to everything that he says. Lots of lessons for everyone to learn from here. How to take on life and still keep smiling. He's always smiling. Please continue.
Yeah, so I had learned one thing. If you want to ensure success in such areas, one had to know the terrain well, the ground well. Absolutely thorough in that. There's no two ways about it. You had to know whom you were facing, the enemy or the terrorist, what their tactics were. You had to know the local population well. Who would support them? Who would give them sustenance? Who would be coerced into giving them sustenance? Who would go against them?
Right.
These are the four different kind of
Factors,
people
yeah.
impacted over there.
Hmm.
What are the strengths and weaknesses of your own troops? Because as a brigade, you are not having your battalion. You are having 3 different battalions.
True.
So, and there were 3 literally different. One was a Naga battalion, one was a Rajputana Rifles battalion, and one was a GR battalion.
Okay, can I enter again here? Yeah,
Gorkha
so that's exactly what I was doing. So tell the viewers as to what, when you have such a different battalions type of thing, what are the complexities of each battalion? If you could just take a minute or two to tell the viewers.
Again, each battalion has got its own culture, traditions,
So different cultures again,
but
okay,
bound by
one value system.
one value system, and we all work for the organization and the nation. So that is what binds us together. Or what most of you would have heard, Naam Namak Nishan. The Nishan is the flag. That is which unites all of us.
Yes.
And we work towards our goal. So irrespective of which battalion is under you, but you have to know their, see, every battalion has its own plus points. So you have to know what their speciality is, or what good points are, where they lack. You know, so avoid putting them when where they should not be. So these are the issues. So having done that, you know, that is the first thing one has to go through. There's no shortcuts to this. Sure enough, within the first 10 days after I took over command, the first intel came in.
Okay.
And by now, actually, with so many operations that I had conducted, right from a raw second lieutenant, 22 years,
Right.
21 and a half years onwards, till, you know, I took over command of a formation. It had become, it was sixth sense, or intuitive power had come into me as to what next the adversary would do. It was, so I told the commanding officer, see, this is what it is. This is what you could do. I didn't want to impose my this thing, but this is the thing. You may consider this. So he planned. What happened? By evening, there were 4 Pakistani terrorists killed, eliminated.
Okay.
And he says, thank you so much. What you suggested, I followed, and I got them there.
Okay.
Now, this happened only because the efforts that I had put in to understand the area, you know, well, which ridge comes down where, which nala meets where would they be headed to, what were the tactics. So all this, when you go into, then you can
appreciate and
appreciate and come to a plan your way. So irrespective of when, what time it happens, at home I had a huge map of the entire area. I had a vast area. I was in the second tier of the LC. The troops are fixed. Thereafter, there is a second tier where I was deployed.
Right.
All in high altitude. You know, heights varying 13,000, 12,000 feet, and jungles.
Right.
limited villages, very few villages, which was an advantage to me. So, and exactly the moment intel would come, I would just spend 5 minutes on the map, see what is on ground. I mean, what next? Which direction would they go? Is this intel of a incoming,
correct,
or a exfiltrating group?
Okay.
Okay.
And you would trust those intels coming in? Or they will develop that way?
Some intels, luckily for me, most of the intels which came were technical intels.
Okay.
Which came from another coursemate of mine, actually, Brigadier Bhatt. So I will not go into those details. But intel was there, coming from two, of course, my course-mates. One was Unni and one was
Right.
So, and I would act on that. And based on the maps and the deployment of the troops, I would then take a call, depending on the time of the day and night, with my staff officers, the BM or the G staff, and the administrative logistics officer, and the commanding officers of the concerned battalions only. And I would give them the intel, I would give them a thought process that this is what it is, this is what we could do. But then they would plan the operation. The freedom was I had given to them.
Correct.
And as you get back to me, because a young officer, I mean, we commanded after so much of experience and 22 years of service. Now they were commanding at 14 to 15 years of service. Exposure was quite a lot for us. So I had to guide them, mentor them, and they would come back with the plan, minor modifications. This is okay, go ahead.
So just one thing, because this is a completely different role now. You see, earlier you were in thick of action, learning as you go, getting massive experience in different areas. And now you are coming to a place where, do you feel that HK, I want to go into the fight now? Or because you are here, you are now getting just inputs. You are at a higher level. And what is that difference that happens?
The itch is there, but I avoided going into the battle. Quite a few told me, no, you need to be in. No, my job now is to guide. Someone has to see from the higher perspective what is happening. If you are in battle yourself, you are not able to
you have a limited vision.
Yeah.
So from top you can see whatever. If immediately some reinforcements are required, some stops are required, you can do that.
Correct.
But if you are involved, you may not be in communication also. You will go into the jungles.
Absolutely.
So is it worth it? It's not worth it. You have to guide. And for me, all the operations that we launched based on the specific technical intel, all were successful. All were successful.
Right.
Because we planned well.
Yes.
And like I had learned in Sri Lanka, how I was taken into a killing area.
And survived.
Luckily. So how do you put them in?
Get the terrorists inside.
Get the terrorists by showing some movement somewhere,
right.
And getting them to where you would be at a better place to neutralize them.
Right.
So it is about that.
And that also you earned the BSM for that tenure.
Yes,
Okay,
we had actually at that time the maximum elimination of terrorists in entire Northern Command.
Okay.
And without loss of life.
Wow.
That of course in my unit also, when I took over, in my first interaction with the troops, we call it the Sainik Sammelan.
Right.
On taking over, I have to tell what I am as a commanding officer. You are going to be with me.
Okay.
I said, we are going to Kashmir in a difficult area. One thing I'll assure you and promise all of you is today, if 750 are going, 750 are coming back.
Okay.
Same, I told all these 3 battalions also.
Right.
That not a soul.
And planning plays a huge role in that.
Yes.
If you go totally unplanned, then you land up in trouble.
Then you land up into trouble. Planning is essential.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And after planning, and everything does not go as per plan also.
Yeah.
You know?
And you have plan A, you have plan B, you have plan C.
you have
And when the
worked out
first
on
bullet is fired, all these
all
plans
this-
don't work. You don't think when you planned.
Yes. But then because you are aware about the area, you are able to quickly, you're flexible enough
Maneuver.
to
To
switch
reconfigure
to
into new plan. Absolutely. Great.
contingency plan. So that's the way you have to be agile in your thought process, thinking.
Absolutely. So I think I'll just take this 1 minute. I think this conversation literally continue for 2 more hours with the amount of experience that he's got and that he can share with us. So we are going to get him again over here, and this time we have said we'll also get his good lady, okay, to share her experiences, because he has his experiences, but without a strong backing from the home, it is impossible to survive such extreme environments. So we look forward to another episode, because we literally can go on for 2 more hours.
Yes.
So fantastic, and over to you, Apurva.
Thank you so much, sir. We are very enthralled with the kind of stories you've given us today and so much inspiration. So, the entire idea of this podcast is to talk about the challenges that a leader faces. And I think through your life's journey, we've seen so many of those, whether it's decision making in a crisis, whether it's being able to handle diversity in your workforce. There are so many parallels I was just drawing in my mind to a corporate life. So I'm pretty sure that the next episode where we see you with your better half will be even better. Thank you for being here with us
Thank
today.
you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. It was
Yeah.
great pleasure. Lovely to have you here.
Before you go, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let us know in the comments below which stories do you want us to cover next, so that we have much more enthusiasm going forward. Thank you.